110% self-report.
down, and we're sorry for well, a lot of people are sorry for.
So BLM and Antifa were good for that day. Interessante. Ah, I see, said the blind man. Mad loud.
God bless CPAC. I gotta say, Orlando is awesome. It's not as nice as Cancun. But it's nice.
That man left his poor ass state to die in a freezing cold, and now he's making jokes about it. Cancel culture, though, exists.
Bernie is wearing mittens.
Why are these so loud?
And AOC is telling us she was murdered. And the media desperately, desperately, desperately wants to see a Republican civil war.
Why does the media want to see that? You're not making any sense, my brother. What are you saying right now?
By the way, how many of y'all have eaten at a restaurant in the last 6 months? Can I just stop and say how strange the rules are right now? I want to understand how this virus works. So when you walk in, you got to put your mask on. Sadly, I've got two. You walk in, you got to put your mask on. You sit down, you take your mask off. See, apparently the virus is actually connected to elevation.
Did we not just hear from the people running this thing that people need to wear masks at the hotel? Is he like not understanding how like dumb that is to make that comparison right then and there? Knowing full well like that the rules sound so dumb that maybe we should just enforce it and not open. See, it's like no way. Who's funding you?
No, remember, this is all about science. It's actually, it may not be elevation. I think it's that there are hormones that are released in your thighs when you're sitting. So you can sit at the table and there's no virus being transmitted. But if you stand up, put the mask on!
So the guy earlier who was like, I went to church, he bad, right? You went to Cancun, you bad, right? Like, yo,
There's
I know it's weird to say at any one given point in time, but like Republicans are so good at content, man. Like Democrats are boring, and like you might get a couple of exciting moments out of them or whatever, but like Republicans just kill it. They should all stop being Republicans and just like straight up be content creators for YouTube. Instant 200 million subs.
saying everybody can get immunized. We can have herd immunity everywhere, and we're going to wear masks for the next 300 years.
It would be one thing if it was just some random like celebrity saying it, but that's a goddamn politician. He make the rules.
And by the way, not just one mask, 2, 3, 4. You can't have too many masks. How much virtue do you want to signal? This is just dumb.
Yeah. This would make anybody go insane. And there were people who were cheering this on. Imagine that.
I remember there were reports that riots were going to come into mostly peaceful, fiery but mostly peaceful. There were reports riots were going to come into the suburbs. I got to tell you, in Houston, where I live, there weren't any rioters. Because let's be very clear, if there had been, they would discover what the state of Texas thinks about the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms.
Oh, so they would. Oh, okay. So remember, the right to bear arms has nothing to do with like killing people. See, the right, like the Second Amendment doesn't even talk about self-defense laws or anything like that. It literally says the right to bear arms. Oh, so it's okay to kill people. And since he's bringing about last summer, I heard there was going to be riots coming or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He effectively means it's okay to kill black people. See, now you're going to say, how did you make that reach? Because they assume all Black Lives Matter protesters are black people because you're protesting for black lives. Therefore, oh, you want those people to get rights? And clack, 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 bing, 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 bong.
In the immortal words of William Wallace, freedom!
Remember when Howard Dean got canceled for going, pyaw? So much that Dave Chappelle had a whole skit on it? And now look at where we're at.
In the immortal words of William Wallace, freedom!
They really think that this is a popularity contest, that somehow they're winning. That somehow they're winning. They think it's a popularity contest that somehow they're winning. Wow. So if you're wondering why I'm going through these super quick and not breaking down each and every one of them, it's just because it's just funny. I just love watching this shit. Like
1,130 criminal convictions for vote fraud. No, not accusations, not indictments, but 130 criminal convictions for vote fraud. No, not accusations, not indictments, but criminal convictions, 1,130 of them. So don't tell me that vote fraud is just some right-wing hallucination. The November 2020 election was a nightmare. Judges and other officials made last-minute rule changes that only state legislators were authorized to enact, as the U.S. Constitution requires.
And yep, now we're going back to Trump got the election stolen and we got to take it back. We have to vote in even bigger numbers so they can never steal it from us again. I.e. the thing the Democrats said that Trump was going to do. Oh, God. You can't even pull it back to like logical. You can't even pull it back to logical centers because when you try to, it's like, oh, wait, but then again.
Roy set it up for us perfectly. If we had actually followed those principles, we wouldn't be sitting here today talking about an election that none of us can wrap our heads around. And we're going to talk about the how, but before we do, let's find out what happened. Why didn't the judges, why didn't the media, why didn't they look at all this evidence that was collecting everywhere?
It's concerning enough that I have to even tell you that the election was not stolen. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you that the election was not stolen. The problem with this is what I was saying a couple weeks ago, and you can check it because the VOD's on YouTube, you know. This is what I meant by the everlasting effect of Trump. Like, now it's a thing. It's not like, oh, you know, there's a few believers here and there, they'll all scramble, blah, 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 we'll all eventually go back to normal. No, now it is a becoming of the party to exist within this reality.
In data it was looking at. That's just absolutely wrong. It was in the expert report, and our expert was deposed in cross-examination by one of the main partners at Perkins Coie. It is hogwash to say that we didn't give him that information. And the next thing that USA Today, the fact checker, did was read the court's opinion and say, well, the court disagreed with this, so it must be false. Again, we get back into this circle of disinformation. Reports and data it was looking at. That's just absolutely wrong. It was in the expert report, and our expert was deposed in cross. Didn't give him that information. And the next thing that USA Today, the fact checker, did was read the court's opinion and say, well, the court disagreed with this, so it must be false. Again, we get back into this circle of disinformation.
Remember the OJ? It's not hard. It's not hard, and I want to pull people away from this insanity, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to be able to do that, to be able to appeal to people and say, hey, maybe you shouldn't believe in this because, you know, it's kind of wild, it's kind of crazy. Like, the fuck are you talking about? But yo, like... Here we go again. I promise you, if I was still on Facebook, I'd probably be saying MAGA service. See, they said it. They said it. It has to be true.
5,000 votes, something like that, and we would have had 4 states. 3 different states, 42,000 votes, 45,000 votes, something like that, and we would have had an electoral college vote of 269 to 269.
There's a lot of
Back
sensitive
then,
topics
Republicans
that are being
had the
talked about
majority
right
in the
now.
House.
We want everyone to do your own research in regards to what they're talking about in this discussion right now, anything with the election or anything like that. So it's important to do your own research. I know there's several outlets here that are able to completely broadcast all of this content for you with any disclaimer at all, but unfortunately here at Right Side Broadcasting, we must jump in here and put a small disclosure that we want you to do your own research, and it's very important that you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, although we are broadcasting these speakers, we want to provide you with that. It does not mean that we necessarily believe or support all of their beliefs of every single speaker talking today, so make sure that you research everything.
In other words, yeah, that's a lie, but like we can't tell you if we agree or disagree with it, so you should do your own research, but like for our sake, we're not like on board with that.
What happened happened. But there probably are instances where you've got a very abusive spouse. It could be the wife beating up the husband, or the husband beating up the wife, as the case may be. Or it could be, okay, Grandpa, if you don't vote the way we want, you're not going to get your insulin this afternoon, or whatever else it is. Now, if you have that kind of pressure, you can go to the polls, vote the way you want, and then come out and tell your obnoxious relatives, hey, I voted the way you wanted, when in fact you didn't. But if you've got an absentee ballot, you're sitting at the kitchen table, and they're watching you fill it out, and they're going to pick it up and drop it off at the drop-off box a couple blocks away, you're now voting for a candidate you don't want to support. So this is an additional problem. And why?
Wow. Wow.
Free tuition because people wanted to try and buy votes. But I believe that in this country we should push back on that. We as Americans must realize that our number one guiding principle is personal responsibility. We have to realize that what happens in our country when the government comes and tries to come to our aid and raise us up, if you have a government that is strong enough to fix all of your problems and heal all of your woes, then my friends, you have a government that is also strong enough to one day take away all of your liberties.
That's a false equivalency.
And as conservatives, it is our mandate to limit that power of government, to make sure that our liberties stay intact. Because, my friends, let me tell you, when I look at what's going on in this country, when I see that they are trying to silence us, they are trying to take away our right to be able to defend ourselves, they're trying to make us become dependent on the government, they're trying to have indoctrination camps of schools.
Indoctrination camps in schools. I'm sorry, but if you come out of college and you're just like, wow, trans people exist and gay people exist and like all these people are super cool, and I used to hate them because my parents used to teach me all this stuff, and now I'm like, I'm not so sure. I could think differently. Maybe y'all all also need that experience, because for some reason you keep thinking that like schools are setting up indoctrination, like what? To indoctrinate what? Oh, America's not so great. I mean, like, my brother was shot by police and he died. Like, that was an American thing. It's hard for me to dissect these things in deep because they just go out of the bounds of reasonable discussion.
Something is a little different this year. For the first time ever, CPAC is not in our nation's capital. That's because they won't let us anywhere near our nation's capital. Think about it. Even though cases are plummeting and vaccination rates are surging, we are still banned from getting anywhere near our nation's capital.
Because of the pandemic, not because you're a fucking Republican.
So I wrote an op-ed in the New York Times. It had a very simple message. Very simple, very common sense message, grounded in American history and law, supported by a majority of Americans, arguing very simply. If the police or especially if they are not allowed to restore order then it is time to send in the troops.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he got lambasted for that, and he knows why, and now he's doing it just disingenuously. That's a lie.
The hands going up. You know, we all lived through it in this election, didn't we? I've been through it too, but nobody has been hit by this like President Donald Trump. First, they decided they were going to fact check him, the leader of the free world, and then they were going to block him, send a message, and then they were going to temporarily ban him. Then they were going to permanently ban him from Facebook and Twitter. The leader of the free world.
He's no longer the leader of the free world, Jesus fucking Christ. So yeah, we shouldn't fact check the president. The president could just say whatever he wants, and we should just swallow it and believe it because we elected him to be the president. Awesome.
So I come bearing great news. I just got word while you've been in here that Mitt Romney has been banned from Twitter. I got bad news. It was only his fake account. It's not his real one. Just his fake account. My bad. My bad.
Wow. Wow.
Potato Head, you're next. I'm sorry. I think now he's going by Potato X. Can't be Mr. Potato. And see, to me, the whole concept of the Mr. Potato Head was he could move the parts around. I mean, Mr. Potato Head was America's first transgender doll, and even he got canceled.
Yay! If you take off the mustache, how would you know he was a man? How would you know Mr. Potato Head was a guy?
Meanwhile, they were stripping Granny out of the COVID ward at the hospital and tossing her in the nursing home, just enough time to infect everybody and then go back to the hospital so that deaths could be recategorized for politics.
Are you serious right now?
Now, speaking of all this bias, it was awful the way the media treated Ted Cruz. I mean, the left and the media were more worried about Ted Cruz going to Mexico to spend his own money than they are about the caravans coming through Mexico to take ours. Now,
Hunter Biden's laptop.
And there we go. Oh, yeah, Hunter Biden's laptop.
Lost followers on social media recently.
oh,
How many have lost 10,000 plus followers on social media? I know both KT and I have experienced that when the purge happened on Twitter.
Oh, the purge happened, and they got rid of a lot of neo-Nazis, and you lost followers. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you believe in conservatives and you realize they lost a lot of followers the moment neo-Nazis and a lot of fascists and a lot of weird-ass white supremacists got taken off of Twitter, maybe you shouldn't announce that shit to the fucking world.
Hunter Biden's going to win and get richer. So don't think out loud. Don't suppose you have freedom to worship or that the churches they closed down during the coronavirus are essential. Don't complain about men, women, women's sports. Don't think you have the right to bear arms. Like socialist dictators, our adversaries will confiscate your weapons. I believe we need to start acting like we really believe our principles.
Wow.
America is, in fact, not racist.
Okay. That's where I check out. Like, right then and there. Okay. Now I'm checking out.
Many of the woke athletes in the NBA and the NFL, we stand for the flag. Why is our nation so divided? Well, our unique individual differences as human beings become divisions without our flag, our national anthem, and our unique American identity.
Wrong again.
6 weeks, the radical left, their corporate allies, the liberal media have tried to cancel me, censor me, expel me, shut me down, stop me from representing the people of Missouri, stop me from representing you. And guess what? I'm here today. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not backing down.
Yeah, they all sound the same now. It's that Trumpism.
Not a chance. Not a chance. I objected during the Electoral College certification. Maybe you heard about it. I did. I stood
Yep,
up.
here we go. Oh, wait, is there more? There's got to be more. There we go.
By these modern day oligarchs. What we need is a new nationalism, a new agenda to make the rule of the people real in this country and give the people America back. Give it back to them. Give it back to you.
Because it's in the hands of wrong Americans. See how easy it is to just knock this shit down one by one? I can make straw man argument too.
I will confidently say that President Trump from his desk at Mar-a-Lago will accomplish more for America in the next 4 years than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris could ever dream of.
What the fuck? He has no power. I thought he was a private citizen. That's why we couldn't fucking convict him. Oh my God. Oh my God. They make it so easy.
CPAC. How's it going, CPAC? Or I heard someone earlier phrasing it a little bit better. TPAC. That's what it feels like, guys.
I don't get that one.
Hasbro now wants a gender-neutral Mr. Potato Head. These are the issues of our times, folks. I mean, if Hasbro really wanted a gender-neutral Mr. Potato Head so badly, they should just slap a picture of CNN's Brian Sletler on the cover of their next potato.
Wow. Wow.
What? They don't call him Mr. Potato Head for nothing. I mean, you know, we might as well get something out of the branding.
Wow.
The radical.
Wow, that's a raw take.
Of the 80 million that voted for Joe Biden, of the 80 million that
Yep,
voted for Joe
and then
Biden,
he defaults all the way to there.
of the 80 million that voted for Joe Biden, of the 80 million.
He certainly didn't disappoint. That crowd had a lot of fun listening to Donald Trump Jr. Broadside against Liz Cheney, threats against Rhino Republicans, but he spent most of his time talking about the collusion between the left-wing media and the far left in the Democratic Party. And just at the end there, beating up on Fredo and his brother, his older brother, the governor of New York, and the
Okay, I think that's the end of the thread. So that was CPAC, and it can all be encapsulated with this one sentence. CPAC organizers begged attendees to wear masks and got booed. The incident showed how conservatives learned nothing about the coronavirus. They don't even care. So if you want to know about the entire recap of CPAC, thank you for watching. It was a shit show. It was the Republican National Convention. They're trying to keep that steam rolling because they know eventually in time they're done.